Hey Nomsters, it's Michelle from Nom Nom Paleo. Today I'm going to show you how to make Paleo Curried Meat Pies, which is a dish that was influenced by something my mom used to make for me as an after-school snack. It's super duper simple. So what you need is some cassava flour, some arrowroot powder, some softened ghee, a little bit of turmeric just to make it nice and golden to show everyone that you're making a curried pie, some eggs, some salt, and then some leftover filling. So what I have here is my spiced keema or deconstructed samosa recipe from the blog. But you know, I've done this with whatever I have in the fridge and it all comes out delicious. Just make sure it's not super wet and it'll come out just fine. So whenever I do a baking recipe, for consistency, I like to actually weigh out the amounts of the flour, and then you can keep on tearing it or zeroing it out and adding the next thing, and you don't have to actually clean all these different bowls. But here I've got the cassava flour. I'm gonna add in a little bit of arrowroot powder. And a lot of people ask, can I use tapioca flour in place of the cassava flour? The answer is no, because the tapioca flour is just the starch part of the cassava flour. You want the whole root because that is actually more similar to all-purpose flour. And then to this, we're gonna put in some softened ghee, a little bit of salt, the turmeric powder. That really is just for color. And that reminds me of the ones my mom made and the ones we would buy at the bakery. We always knew those were curried meat pies because they were nice and orange. I'm gonna crack in 2 eggs. And this is where we get our hands dirty. So you just stick your hands in and you're just gonna knead everything until it's a nice shaggy dough. And I like using my hands because I can really feel that things are getting mixed together. And the turmeric also helps see that everything is being mixed properly because then everything turns a nice tinge of orangey yellow. So once you see that you have this crumbly kind of shaggy dough, grab, and I always measure out about ½ cup of water, but you don't dump it all in at once. Kind of dump in a little bit at a time, and then you just kind of knead it and form it into a ball, and you incorporate all that water in, and you add a little bit more water, and eventually it's going to be like a smooth ball, and it's going to be the consistency of Play-Doh. You can see here, your hands shouldn't stick to it. It should be able to form a nice smooth ball, just like this. I like to divide the dough in half because it's easier to work with, and half of the dough will make enough pies for 1 tray anyway. So the one that I'm not working with, I wrap in plastic wrap, and then the one you are gonna work with, I lay down a piece of parchment paper, put one in the middle, grab a rolling pin, or you can use a water bottle, whatever you have, roll it out until it's about 1/8 inch thick. So I grab a 4½ inch little pie cutter, and then I press and cut, and I try to make as many as possible. So I go right up to the edge, take up the scraps, and roll these out to make more. You get your leftover filling, which should be cold, and I normally just pick one up. You're forming a little taco. And you don't want to be too crazy with the filling because the dough is a little bit delicate. I just pinch this tops. And don't worry if there's some cracking. So just seal the ends together. You don't even need any egg wash or anything. And then you put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. And then you can use a fork to kind of crimp the edges. And then you keep doing it with the rest of your little fillings. So the last step before you pop these in the oven is you whisk up an egg to make an egg wash, and you brush the tops. You want to add enough so that the whole thing is covered, but not too much because you don't want it to be a soggy mess. And then the last step is for each one, use a sharp knife, cut 3 little vents. And if you already have some cracks in here, you don't really need these vents. This is just to make sure that the steam escapes. And you always want to make sure that you just bake however many you need at a time. You don't want to just cram this with as many pies as possible. You don't want to put 2 or 3 trays in the oven at a time. Just do one at a time. It'll be worth it. So I'm going to pop this into a 400-degree oven for about 15 minutes, and then I'm going to just turn the tray about 180 degrees and cook it for about 10 minutes more, and they should be nice and brown and golden. So I've let these Paleo Curried Meat Pies cool down a bit, and you can see that they're perfectly golden all over. It's a nice crunchy crust. And yes, some of them may have split a little bit, but that's okay. These are rustic, and we shouldn't be caught up about how things look. It's what's inside that counts, right? So you guys should totally make these Paleo Curried Meat Pies and fill them with whatever leftovers you have, just for variety. So if you want the recipe, just head on over to my site, nomnompaleo.com.